for us. Doing it all for love. Yeah, yeah. Too much in my system. Money in my head. Mama making ends meet. Working like a slave. Daddy ain't at home, no. Gotta be a man. Do it for my homegrown. Do it for the fam. Hey! Just for your love, yeah. Give you the world. Mona Lisa smile. Hey! And I'll do 25 more if it makes me a king. A star in your figure my 2 times 2 always equates to one dream was selfish. When it all comes down to it, I hope one day you come back to remind me of who I was when I go disappear into that good night.
Till then.
Well, that was a mood. I mean, that scene, like, the first time I watched that, it was, I just couldn't control myself. But before we get into that scene, the soundscape of Euphoria, the music, everything about it, there's an identity to it. For Jen and Labrinth, what kind of conversations did y'all have, between yourselves and with Sam to create this heightened reality that we live in when we watch Euphoria?
Lab?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
No, for me, Sam was kind of like the central point for all of us. So me and Jen hadn't actually spoken through most of the series because Sam was like our point person and everybody was kind of trying to articulate Sam's vision and because he had a very clear direction when it came to music, and that's how we came to work together because he was just so excited and so kind of like inspired about new ways of approaching score or new ways of approaching like sonics. And so I met Jen by hearing some of the incredible music she plays on Euphoria.
And for Jen, like what for you, you serve almost as like this curator, this, you're creating this mood, this feel, as we say. What went into that for you to build, like Euphoria definitely has, this like specific musical feel, and how did you go about approaching that?
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Like
not necessarily.
Not literally.
You don't know what I did to get here. No,
really don't. Nobody has any idea. I mean, it was a massive job. There was so much music, whether it's lab score, or whether it's certain episodes that had 27, 30 songs in there. And it was really just, Sam has such great taste in music, but he's also very open to hearing kind of the left of center ideas that might have been thrown his way. And so he was like our kind of our guiding light and our, you know, our North Star to help, you know, just kind of fulfill his vision. And it was so cool because it didn't matter what decade, what genre, male or female, but like we were able to really, he was game for anything that, and it was very much a, you know it when you hear it and see it. And the, you know, some of the best moments were when that piece of music, whether it was Lab's score or whether it was the song, just kind of came together. And those two mediums, the visual and the audio, were made for each other. So I think that, you know, and there was just so much music, and, you know, Lab had his work cut out for him. The time, you know, if you think about it, an artist's record is what, Lab, you take what, 45 minutes worth of music? You did that 8 times or 8 episodes.
For real. Exactly. There's actually more music. Like there's that the whole score is like maybe half of the amount of music I made for the show.
Oh my! Well, you'll release the extended remix.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, like I want to go to the scene we just watched, which is almost like a culmination of everything, because it made me gag. I was just like, when I first saw that, I was just like, oh, what is going on? It's like something that you expected from the show, but at the same time, you didn't expect it. Yeah. For that scene, you know, how did that come about? Were y'all even on set? Did you get to go on set that day? And what kind of feelings did you want to convey with that, and the challenge, and what were the challenges you had? I know that was like a multi-tiered question, but so what did you want to convey with that scene, and what were the challenges in kind of creating this whole, it was like this mood, it was this fantasy. What went behind that?
Jen, was you on set? Did you get to go?
I was. Oh yeah.
Oh man, I'm so jealous.
I was there for rehearsal, which was the night before, and we were there for hours. And then the day we shot it, call time was like 4 p.m. We left at 5 a.m. It was an all-night shoot, and you know, these guys, everybody on set, you know, they're professionals and they've done this before. Around like 3 a.m., I was just like, I don't know what's happening. But yeah, it was, and it was the last day of shooting, so it was very emotional. Like seeing the cast and crew and how close they were was really special. But Lab, I mean, you wrote the song.
Yeah. I know. When I kind of develop a lot of records just by maybe kind of just, I get inspired a lot and kind of have these spontaneous rushes of music, and I kind of heard Bohemian Rhapsody, a gospel choir, and Kanye all sitting in a room. That's what I was kind of imagining with the record, and I just kind of made this little thing that I had sitting there, and Sam had heard it, and he was just like, Lab, I love this record. And all through filming Euphoria, he just had this record just playing it over and over again. And then he came to me one day and was just like, Lab, I'm going to use this for the final scene of Euphoria. And I was like, what? I was like, this is pretty insane. And so he was like, you need to kind of finish this record because I just love this little thing that you sent me. And so we just started developing it, and he had most of the vision in terms of like he knew that was going to what was the word? He knew that was going to convey or express the Rue's final kind of leap to try and get herself back together, and it was just like the song that kind of encapsulates her message for that moment. And so when I saw what he wanted to do with it, I just started writing these ideas in terms of like her saying, I want to be clean. I want to be the person that you guys hope for me to be, but I know I can't get there. And that's what we wanted the record to kind of convey, and it to be almost triumphant, and then us to like, kind of like that dance scene where she she walks up that mountain of people and just falls into the abyss is the exact kind of energy of the song, where it's just like this big crescendo to not knowing where she ends up, you know. And so for me, when Sam said he wanted like drama and was it an extravaganza, but also for it to feel slightly hip hop and slightly off center, that kind of felt like the right place for me. And then we developed it, and then he came back about adding a massive choir and then adding a drum line, and I was like, bro, you've got mental issues, but I love it. And then
you described that perfectly, the kind of a marriage between gospel, you know, early Kanye, and what was it? Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, Rhapsody, just dramatic, drama.
Oh God, because it is drama. The fact that like kind of Zendaya is carrying that whole thing.
Yeah,
it's a mood. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it really is.
And you know, the music. There's a lot of times in film and TV where music tells you how to feel rather than, you know, you feeling the music. If that makes any sense at all. Yeah. And here it's the music's not really telling you how to feel. It's kind of guiding you on this journey. How do you think, you know, the music, you know, Jen, the music you chose, and Labrinth, the music you composed, how do you think that elevates Euphoria in terms of storytelling? You know, especially specifically for Rue. I mean, you touched on it with the clip we just saw, but as we see her go through these episodes, how did you choose her journey through music?
Her journey. I think it was self-explanatory to me, where when watching it, you kind of get inspired. The characters are so strong that they already tell the story, and so like you're just kind of supporting their expression and supporting their colors and their magic. And so for me, it was pretty easy because it didn't feel like I had to fabricate anything around them. It was already there to work with. And so and then of course Sam being the kind of center of this, the guy with the vision, he knew what my purpose was in his whole universe. And I don't know if it's the same for you, Jen, but that's how I felt with Sam, is that he just, his taste with music and the things that he wanted to achieve, he knew where I would be powerful in Euphoria, if you get what I mean, instead of me knowing exactly how I fit. And I felt like him at one point, because of course this is my first time scoring for a show, I was a bit like, okay, maybe I need to sound like other score writers, and just like what you're saying is, kind of help people along and show them how to feel instead of them feeling it. And I think Sam felt my music, so he was like, no, Lab, I need that. I need it to feel like a producer produced a score writer. And I was like, well, I'm that guy. I produce music and I also do score. So and he saw that in me, and I didn't necessarily see that. So I think it was just really Sam's vision that kind of started to help us sculpt around the characters, for me anyway.
Mm-hmm. And Jen, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, at the end of the day, music is a character in the show, like makeup and costumes. I mean, it's a character, but I think, you know, it helped kind of create that connection and that world of, you know, whether it's like fear or love or loss or disconnect. I mean, everything that the characters feel. But one thing that was really exciting about it was that nothing was forced.
Yes,
we weren't trying to find, like, you know, there is a sound for each character, but it wasn't like making, you know, fitting songs into the box. It was just something that just kind of would happen naturally. And sometimes we would have to go through 50 song options or a couple score options until it was like, yes, this is perfect. This is what we want. And, you know, like A Song for You, the Donny Hathaway, that was kind of one late night, just trying things. And it was, what about this song? Play. And it just was
And it's
perfect.
still
Not
right
what,
there.
no music editing, nothing. And it was just like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
Well, Jen, Labrinth, thank you so much for taking the time out to chat about this wonderful soundscape and music that you
Thank you.
curated and created for this heightened reality show that pretty much kind of broke ground in terms of teen storytelling. And congratulations on your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jen and Labrinth, for talking to us about the feel of Euphoria. Now we have the star of Euphoria, the wonderful, lovely Zendaya, who plays Rue. But before we chat with Zendaya, we're going to play this little emotional clip.
You have to understand that I just want you to be safe, okay? I don't want anything bad